Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a great way, an easy way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by leaving a comment, or by telling me what you're having for breakfast. Quick side note, thank you very much to my newest patron, Jojo Shaw Show. You do sound famous, whatever that name might be. And also, side note as well, I'm not sick before I see the comment section explode. There's nothing to do if you haven't noticed the last year. So I've been making sure to go on like long walks every single day just to get some type of exercise and to be outside. But I've been going on like 2-hour walks. It's been like minus 11 here, not a fake number. And walking around, breathing in the ice cold air has not, like actually ice cold air, has not helped my throat situation at all. So if I'm not talking as fast or as loud, or I seem a bit unenergized, I have all the energy in the world. It's just more so I'm trying not to overexert my voice at the moment, especially if I end up making a second video. I had to explain myself because I know halfway through people can be like, oh gosh, what happened to him? No, it's the air hurts to breathe. You know, like when you walk down the street and like it actually like hurts your eyes and your face. That exactly what it is. Anyway, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. For those of you who are unaware or simply did not look at crypto prices, this does happen. Sometimes over the weekend, some people just want to like have a bit of a breather. The price of Bitcoin reached a new record high on Sunday, rising above $49,000 for the first time. The leading cryptocurrency's price reached a new record on Sunday, rising above $49,000 for the first time. Bitcoin reached about $49,694. Paired gains to around $47,000 at the time of writing. Is now almost up around 70% so far this year. It says rival cryptocurrency Ether. Ether's not a rival to Bitcoin, for those of you who did not know that. I think people think that all the coins in this space are rivals to each other or don't like each other. Ethereum was made as a world computer and Bitcoin was made as a payment system. The idea that Ethereum is a rival or going to be more valuable than Bitcoin has come from the fact that Ethereum's price has risen, and therefore people are like, oh, it might take it over. No, Ethereum is not a rival to Bitcoin in any sort of way. So basically what took place over the last, it's no more than like 18 hours at this point. Over the weekend, I'm pretty sure many of you may have been like price watching, seeing exactly what's been going on within the cryptocurrency space. And Bitcoin multiple times kept on gearing up towards 50,000 US dollars. I was talking with my friends. I'll be completely frank. I was like, just do it. Just hit the number so we can all get beyond this point and stop wondering if it's going to, if it could, or whatever, because we know that it's going to happen at some point. For some reason, a friend of mine has written, it won't hit 50,000 until they want it to hit 50,000. I assume he meant, and I also kind of believe this as well, if we've gotten news before that institutions last year were doing thousands of trades to make sure that they accumulated as much Bitcoin as they possibly could, one can only assume, once again, for those of you who may not have been here last week, hello to you again, Visa, MasterCard, the oldest bank in America, JP Morgan Chase, Deutsche Bank, and some other bank all announced that they're getting into crypto in some sort of way. Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and I think it was Uber who said that they're considering adding it as a payment option, as well as some other company. And I think the Central Bank of Colombia or some other bank in Colombia is also going to be accepting Bitcoin. That's a lot of news for a short period of time. Bitcoin should once again be well over 120,000 US dollars. What I think has taken place is, this is just, an assumption. If all these companies who were kind of on the fence before saw over the course of a 7-day, all that news is from the last week. It's not like this took place over the last 9, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12 months. And they're like, okay, now we get into it. I think it was a bit of an avalanche of news for them. And they simply, if they were waiting on the sidelines before, they decided to definitely get into this space now. And they're basically trying, I'm pretty sure they're working together with other companies or hedge funds, whatever the case might be, to make sure that Bitcoin's price just does not rise, or any buying that's being done is being done over the counter. Who knows? It could be a multitude of things. I'm not a hedge fund manager. I do not know all the tricks that they use. But I'm assuming that accumulation is definitely rising. Like, and I mean like faster than we can actually even begin to imagine right now within the cryptocurrency space, because there's nothing. If Bitcoin can hit $49,694, do you think it was impossible for anyone else to put in a, couple $1,000,000 and cause Bitcoin to rise to 50,000? No, it was definitely something behind the scenes where they were like, okay, we got really close. Let's sell it off. Let's buy back at a lower price, whatever they actually need to do. It says Bitcoin, and it says $50,000 and Bitcoin's biggest weekly candle ever. 5 things to watch in Bitcoin this week. As one might imagine, this is going to be the news until it happens. We will not see much other news price-wise regarding anything else except for this thing until it actually finally happens. $50,000 has been predicted. It's going to happen, but it's also been seen as a precursor to basically a massive Bitcoin rally, unlike anything that we've ever seen in our entire lifetimes, or whatever string of words people like to throw together. So we are very close. There's nothing really stopping us. We keep having these dips. I assume the people who are day trading or whatever kind of trading, I'm sure they're loving these movements because anyway. Says technical analysis, Bitcoin dips 2,000. Why Bitcoin could bounce back from 45,000. There's nothing, even the photo is kind of ridiculous. There's nothing holding us back from reaching $75,000. If we did indeed reach $75,000 this week, you'd better believe the articles would go something along the lines of, we got too hot too quick, we have to move down. All that's nonsense. I'm tired. I'm so exhausted from hearing that for all the last couple of years. If we move up by $9,000, $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, people go, it got too hot. We have to correct to make sure that the market, and it's like, no, like, because you're not pricing in things does not mean that the market has to price these things in that you are delusional about. What does this one say? Cardano dives 20%. Why 70 cents could spark fresh increase? The whole market is down. It's not just Cardano. It's not just Litecoin. It's not just XRP. It's not just Lumens. It's not just Binance Coin. Bitcoin fell and the rest of the market fell because Bitcoin is the market. Whether you want to believe that or not, do we have to have this conversation again? Probably not. The point is, Bitcoin fell. The rest of the market fell harder. And that's how the market works because Bitcoin has the most liquidity. Bitcoin is currently moving back up. I'm not sure exactly what price we even dove. Price we dove to. Because dived isn't right. What price we dived? Where Bitcoin's price went to. But it is moving back up. Oh, wow. I'm so shocked. And I'm pretty sure by the end of today, we're probably going to see a $48,000, $49,000 Bitcoin again. May fall back down, trading within a trading range, maybe within the next week or two. Not really sure. And then we'll have a decisive movement. What does this one say? Crypto market, big move expected. Exclamation point. The next 24 to 48 hours are vital for Bitcoin and Ether. Not so much vital as like we're probably going to see some crazy movements back and forth, up and down. Understand, once again, all the major banks on the planet are going to be accepting Bitcoin. All the major payment options that you use every single day are going to be accepting Bitcoin. This is no longer a hopeful wish that in 10 years, please let them come into our space and accept us as one of the... No, they are adding Bitcoin to their platforms. This has lit a massive, gigantic, flaming volcano-like fire under their behinds, and they are trying to rush into the market as quickly as possible right now. You wouldn't believe the amount of articles that I saw discussing the move that Tesla did, even by openly announcing it, or people being able to find through the documents of the SEC that they have $1.5 billion through so much confidence, extra confidence behind Bitcoin. It's not that the central banks are scared, but there's a lot of discussions now. You'll see even in this video of what's happening and what to do and how to properly regulate this field, because it's clear that Fiat there's the door. Fiat's basically on its way out. So apparently, according to the world of news, in the next 48 hours, we should have some type of decisive movement within the market. I'm not scared. I'm not shaken. I'm not stirred at all. I know that Bitcoin is going to pass by 50,000. If this is where we are right now, just imagine where Bitcoin's going to be in a year from all this momentum. All the other companies, Keep in mind, just mathematically and logically. Remember all the stuff I told you that happened last week? Now, add on to the fact that Square, Grayscale, and whoever, PayPal, are all buying up more than 900 Bitcoin per day. There's only 900 Bitcoin created per day. The people who are creating Bitcoin through their computers are probably not selling all of their Bitcoin. I still estimated around 50 to 100 Bitcoin per day actually probably enters the market. These people are hoarding it. If we know for a fact that 3 companies alone are buying 1,800 Bitcoin and only 100 is actually entering the market, and all the other stuff that happened last week, Bitcoin is heavily, heavily undervalued. But we won't see this until the price spikes to 65,000, 98,000, and then we start getting people going, oh, hey, I should have bought that before when it was 3,000, but let me buy into it now. Have you ever noticed the pattern? When Bitcoin's spiking, your phone goes crazy because tons of people are asking you how to get into it. The moment Bitcoin goes down, you get no texts. Isn't that weird? Because they don't understand. They don't really get it. I don't expect you to try and get your friends to understand it because it's just a frustrating thing. I'm sure a lot of you are like, yep. Don't try to explain economics to your friends. Don't try to explain to them what inflation is, what happened in 1971. Don't try to do any of that stuff. Keep your head down. You continue to accumulate. And if your friends decide to grovel to you and say, hey, please help me with something, give them a little push forward. Give them a little push, help them out a little bit, and then that's it. Let them find their own way and let them realize that years ago when you were telling them that they should have gotten into crypto, they should have gotten into crypto. Anyway, that's the price news, at least for right now. As the day goes on, I'm pretty sure we're going to have some type of crazy price movements. Someone's going to slip up and Bitcoin's price is going to hit like $50,001 and they're going to be like, come on, dude, we were trying to keep it lower. Anyway, that's all that news. And let's move on. And for some reason, this is news. Elon Musk said today that he would support the top holders of Dogecoin selling a big portion of their Doge stash to ease out the altcoins distribution, as per a tweet this morning. Whether that is a joke or not, it's probably not. Dogecoin's wealth concentration issue is real. Reports suggest a single entity, that one single person, holds 27% of all the Dogecoin, valued at over $7 billion at press time. That's the entire market cap. That puts the entity's holdings at roughly around $1.8 billion, or about the GDP of a mid-sized island nation. In addition, top 20 addresses hold more than 50% of the altcoin circulation. I'll tell you a story that I told my friend over the weekend. As we were, we always order Asian, and we always keep getting the exact same thing because it's delicious. What happened was many years ago. I forgot I had to make a video on that. I'll make a video on that as well. The point is, Dogecoin's price used to be nothing. And I mean like actually nothing. Like if someone gave you a handful of sand, you probably still couldn't have purchased like an entire Doge. Like it was worth nothing. And it was very easy back then. I had a friend who's now not into crypto anymore. He was able to buy, I think, 1 million Doge for like a couple $100. Like it was actually nothing. And his idea was back then, me and him discussed this. Hey, how funny would it be if we ended up buying 100 million Doge? It would cost a couple, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000. It was nothing to buy 100 million Doge. And I remember we sat there laughing one day because we just knew in our minds that it wasn't possible. Wouldn't it be crazy if Dogecoin hits 1 cent? That 100 million Doge would end up being worth $1 million. No way, that's never going to happen. And we were like, imagine if it hits 10 cents, you have $10 million. What ended up happening was, I think he was accumulating for like a year or two. He got very close to the number. Dogecoin's price, this was 2013 or 14, was going nowhere. And he sold it all off. And I think he tried to invest in some other things, ended up moving overseas. The point is, it was very easy to accumulate as much Dogecoin as you wanted. We were not the only people who had this idea of trying to accumulate tons of Dogecoin. So what I think happened was that as Dogecoin has been around for about a good 7, 8 something years. Over those years, there have been tons of people who are really into Dogecoin. They like the idea, but they think it's fun and wacky and so and so and so. Logic tells us if we have 7.4 billion people on the planet, 100 million people who are into Bitcoin, let's say roughly a million, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15, 25 million people who are into altcoins, maybe 300,000 people who were really into Doge, who are maybe mining it on the side, that you're probably going to have 3 people out of 7.4 billion people. See, the numbers do make sense. Who were like, I'm going to try and accumulate as much Doge as possible. But now we're getting into the discussion of, once again, of like the centralization of coins. But whose fault is that? It's not the people who accumulated it. It's not their fault. It's the same exact thing years ago when Bitcoin was $100, $14. How many of you heard about Bitcoin, but you simply didn't buy? So now we know that there are people on the planet who have 10,000 Bitcoin, 15,000 Bitcoin, 200,000 Bitcoin. Why? Because they bought in early in. It's the same exact thing with the Winklevoss twins. I'm not siding with any of them, but it's more of an explanation. People get annoyed later on down the line to say, why do they have so much money? Why do they do all that stuff? It's the same exact thing in New York City and in California and in Vancouver and in many other places when when real estate was dirt cheap and no one was buying it. And then people come in and start buying up the land and buying all this other stuff. The land ends up exploding in value and people go, well, that's not fair. We weren't able to buy that, but you were. Same exact thing with Dogecoin. Dogecoin, if I'm going to show you, I promise you, it was worth nothing. Like it was 0.000000. Like there was no value to it. So you're going to have some enthusiasts who are going to buy tons of it. But I think Elon Musk does. I love that we're actually having a conversation about a coin that was made as a meme being adopted by one of the largest companies in the planet. It's a very weird conversation that we're having. So this happened years ago as well for Bitcoin. People were like, the rich have too many Bitcoin, and it's like, and I said in other videos, I was like, it's not their fault. They see the value prospect of it. It's the same exact thing with art and many other things. It's the same exact thing with buying a Banksy. You were able to buy a Banksy for 10 pounds, 15 pounds. He used to have exhibition shows in the early 2000s for, he was selling original paintings for 50 quid, about $65, $70. No one came to these shows. Steve Lazarides was like, hey, I kind of like your stuff. Started buying up his stuff. Banksy became more popular. And now these little things that you could buy for 50 pounds are now worth like 800,000. It's just that there are going to be people who see it before everyone else, and people, I'm sure. Anyway, the entire point is, after all of that, to get off the Doge conversation, kind of ish, I think, is that there are 3 wallets who have tons of Dogecoin, and in order for things to become more equal, Elon Musk wants them to kind of spread the wealth, if you will. Here's the actual tweet right here. It says, if major Dogecoin holders sell most of their coins, it will get my full support. Too much concentration is the only real issue, in my opinion. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we will probably still continue to see some type of Dogecoin movements up in price, whether it be from Muskie or whether it be from the Wall Street Bets people. I think at some point we are probably going to see a 15-cent Dogecoin, whether Elon Musk is a part of it or not. Just, completely, off the top of my head, that's not I don't know the future. I can't tell you what the prices are going to be. But it would definitely grind my gears if at any point in the future Elon Musk was like, we're adding Dogecoin as a payment method to Tesla. It just because it was made as a joke, and I know it's not a joke anymore, but anyway, that's part of the Elon Musk news. It's Dogecoin. Like, what do you really want from it? Anyway, that's a tweet for it right there. And also, for some reason, this is also news. I think people got a kick out of this. I'm not really sure why. Recently, the creator of Dogecoin and co-founder Billy Marcus wrote about the highly popular meme coin in an open letter that he published on Reddit. He says, as you may have heard, it was indeed created for sillies. After Jack Palmer made a flippant tweet about it being the next big thing, and I threw it together. Without any expectation, or plan, it took about 3 hours to make. With the bulk of time making alterations to the client to make the text Comic Sans and some custom graphics and wording for different pieces of the user interface. I left around 2015 as the community started to strongly shift from one that I was comfortable with. For those of you who don't know, the guy who created Dogecoin made it as a meme. It was made as a joke. It was made as a so-and-so because everybody was making their own coin back then. People figured out how to make them. He made his own coin. It became popular, a little bit too popular for him. Even the thing that I was talking to you about, like the rapid accumulation of Dogecoin, my friend was not the only person who was doing that. There were tons of people, but then the idea then became, how high could this coin go in price? And I think when it was worth nothing, it doubled in price at some point, like 1 to a 2. And everyone was like, what? This thing can double in price? So people were making, hundreds of dollars per day, whatever the case might be. And the guy who created it got really upset. He was like, I don't like this. He's like, it's made as a meme. None of you should be using it, which is kind of weird. You can't create something and then tell people how to use it, or that they shouldn't be using it, or that it shouldn't have value. And he left the cryptocurrency space. He left the entire community. I left around 2015. I don't currently own any Dogecoin, except for what has been tipped to me recently. I gave away and or sold all the crypto I had back in 2015 after being laid off and scared about my dwindling savings at the time, for about enough in total to buy a used Honda Civic. That's it. That's the news. Not joking. The news floating around is that the creator of Dogecoin sold all of his Doge for a used Honda Civic. And for some reason, I'm not sure if it's that people are happy that he was broke, or something, that he was anything, or that he sold all of his Doge, which would probably be worth a lot more for a used car. I'm not really sure, but this was also very popular news floating around. Leave the man alone. Who cares what he did? I saw an article earlier. It basically says something along the lines of like, should we forgive Charlie Lee for selling his Litecoin? It's like, no one cares anymore. Stop digging up old things that no one cares. Charlie Lee selling his Litecoin years ago, or this guy selling his Doge, is not going to help me buy a new house. It's just not. Like, their life is not important to me. But this was very popular news, so I decided to bring it to all of you, just in case any of you really wanted to, have a good day because this guy had to sell his Doge to buy a used Honda Civic. Then here you go. Here's the happiness for you for the day. It's very weird. The news within the cryptocurrency space is usually a mix of this odd euphoric, like, here we go, look at where we're going, and like making sure to like make fun of and like put down people who, I don't know. I wonder who thinks of these ideas for articles, and then they spread like wildfire. People end up go, that sounds great, I'm gonna make an article. Why is this news? Anyway, that's a lot of Doge news across the board, and without further ado, let's move on. I don't think that central banks want their digital currencies that they're creating to actually be used. Officials at the European Central Bank have said in recent weeks that they continue to assess all the factors behind a potential launch of a digital euro. Among those areas of consideration, the potential effect a digital euro might have on the integrity of the European banking system, and how a digital euro may alter consumer behavior to the detriment of the health of the consumer-facing banks. Oh yeah, just wait. This consideration has proven to be a consistent theme among public statements from the central bank on the topic of a central bank digital currency. On the 10th of February, European Central Bank Executive Board member Fabio Panetta discussed some of these design considerations during an online seminar. You ready? One specific concern he highlighted is whether a digital euro might incentivize consumers to shift deposits away from commercial banks and to the central bank, in particular, perhaps during times of crises. One possible option to forestall this behavior would be to place a limit on digital euro holdings at the individual level. He said this would prevent large inflows of bank deposits as well as volatile portfolio inflows from abroad into the central bank. He said one way of doing this, while allowing the digital euro to be used for large transactions, would be to require incoming funds in excess of a user's limit to be redirected to a bank account. The link between private money and the digital euro accounts would avoid fragmentation of a user's liquidity and would also be useful for outgoing payments. Large outgoing transactions could be conducted by transferring a combination of digital euro and private money. Panetta also suggested what would effectively be a negative interest rate on accounts to forestall holdings on digital euros. These people are ridiculous. The goal of such a rate, he argued, would be to encourage using the digital euro as a means of payment. The idea is to have a cap on how much people can use, how much people can have, and how much money can actually be outflowed at a given time. I'm going to try and explain this in the best way possible because there's a lot really going on. A couple of years ago, China was having a problem where people were like, I don't want to live here. And people started taking their money out of the country. And people used their money to buy homes in London, to buy homes in Paris, to buy homes in Spain, to buy homes in Germany, to buy homes in South Africa, to buy homes in Canada. The government quickly went, hey, our money's leaving our borders. And they put a cap on how much money people could leave the country at any given time. So people started buying art. People started buying diamonds. People started buying tons and tons of gold and had those diamonds and had that art that they bought and purchased shipped to these new places in London. And that art ended up going up then for sale at Sotheby's and many other places. And therefore, these people were still able to get their money out of the country. So China once again said, okay, there's even more restrictions on how much money you can actually have leaving the country. It is seen as a very negative thing for a country if tons of money is leaving their borders. It shows that the country is weakening. It shows that all the money is so and so. And so that's because we live in a very fragmented economy where if I take too much money out, you begin to fall sideways, and it shows very quickly that you are hurting. This is why we see such competitiveness amongst many countries who are trying to get tons of money to come to their borders. Because if you have all the money, your country's really rich. If people start leaving, well, then your country quickly falls to the side and you can't really hold yourself up. We had this discussion as well sometime last year. No, this was like 2 years ago when the first discussions of a digital US dollar had started to come about after Libra. It took them all these years. Libra announced they were going to do it. A week and a half later, they were having Senate and congressional hearings about the prospectus of a digital US dollar. And one of the ideas that was put forward by someone, and everyone up on the panel was like, this sounds good, was what do we do in time of crisis? What do we do if people are trying to move their money out of the stock market or quickly into the stock market? Because if everything is flowing at the exact same time, it's usually the system that we have right now, it's very difficult to move money around rapidly. If I'm trying to send you money and I'm doing it on a Friday night, you're not getting that until Monday. With the idea of a digital euro or a digital US dollar, money moves around quickly, the same exact way as a cryptocurrency. This is what they're trying to mimic. In the idea of a stock market crash and everything is digital and the transactions take 1 second, what happens if there's a stock market crash? And we see that there's going to be one on a Friday. People have to wait the entire weekend and so and so. And so then on Monday, they begin to take their money out. And as people are taking their money out, the stock market goes, stop. We'll open back up tomorrow. Next day they open up, stop. Now, what happens if everything is digital? Digital euro, digital dollar, digital dollar, and people begin to take their money out. The point is, the rapid movement of money would destroy economies. That's the base. I had to give you some type of a background for it. It would cause these economies to crumble. So the idea that you would put a limit on how much people could hold and how much people they could essentially sell at the exact same time. This is why I said to make sure that people could still have large transactions. So you can still buy a computer, you can still buy a car, you can even buy a little boat, but there would still be a cap. And the other idea being that when you're holding the digital euro on your phone or something like that, you're going to have a negative interest rate. A negative interest rate basically implies that every month you pay the bank. So not only are you paying money for your account every single month, the $4.99 that you have to have your account, there's an additional fee because the negative interest rate is there, and therefore they take an extra bit of money from your account every single month or every single year that's given to the bank to keep the bank afloat. That's how it works. So you say, well, I don't want to pay the bank every single month, so I'm going to spend more of my money. You are then incentivized to not save anything, because if you save money, the economy doesn't move. You become richer, but the economy doesn't. Do you see how the entire system is terrible and the entire system is rigged? And when they say these things out loud, I'm sitting there like, why hasn't the rest of the world? It's there. You can read it. It's on the screen right now. And this isn't the first bank or institution or company or anything like that to say these. This is one of their policies. It's to make sure that you keep spending. Why do you think the economy works out and the way that sales work out, that you are constantly bombarded on your phone with, buy this, don't you want that? You'll be happier with this. It's to make you spend your money. When you have no money, you have to go to work. When you go to work, you're miserable, but you go, I'm making money so that I can buy things that make me happy. I'm even thinking about starting to save some money. You're miserable when you go home, you look at stuff on TV, on your phone, everywhere that you look, there's an ad to buy something. So you keep spending over and over and over until you have nothing. I don't want to give my money to the bank. That's nonsense. I'm going to go and buy myself something nice. And then over the course of 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, you've saved up nothing. You have to rely on the government. You have to lean on the system. Please, I've been working for 45 years. Can you give me something? I have nothing now. And the government goes, nope. And then you run into the streets and try and tell people, hey, the system's rigged. The system's messed up. But everyone else is still in their 20s and their 30s. They're not listening to you. Why would they listen? There were news reports in the 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17. Like it was heavily in the news about the fact that there are people now who are working who are never going to retire. And I mean never, ever. Imagine thinking you are in your mid-50s and you are going to retire in 10 years and you look at your bank account and you have nothing. You have no savings. You have no assets. You have nothing in your 401k. You have nothing in your pension fund because you've been told your entire life, keep spending. Why are you holding on to your money? Why do you think we have all these TV shows that show you these beautiful homes and these beautiful houses? It's for you to take out huge mortgages so that you're constantly paying the bank back. Why do you think commercials don't have people going, it's breakfast time, but it's people dancing around? Have you ever seen the meme where that woman is eating a salad? Like it's like 5 women eating a salad and it's something like when your salad is always telling jokes. You're supposed to see these people as extremely happy because they know that you're miserable. They know that you're sad because you've been placed in this corner where you are only supposed to consume for your entire life. That's the idea of Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoin and we see that Bitcoin's value continues to rise next to the value of fiat currencies, why would you hold the fiat currencies? Even if we do indeed enter into a deflationary system, this is bad for banks and bad for governments because the value of your money that you have continues to rise every single year as the value of Bitcoin rises next to the euro or the US dollar. Why would you spend your Bitcoin if you knew that next year it was going to be worth more? Economies only continue the way that they are because you have to spend. You have to get rid of everything that you have. Think of all the TV shows. Pay attention now. Pay attention to everything that you watch. When you're walking down the street, look at every ad. Look at every TV show. Why do you think shows like The Kardashians had 15 seasons? It's not because they're talented. It's because they show you a life that you want to live. So you go out and buy these things. You go and buy these bags and you go out and buy these so and so because you want to mimic what they have as opposed to being like, if I save my money, I can invest to be able to actually be as rich as them. But the system isn't made that way. So anyway, the entire point is, that's why I said in the beginning, I was like, I don't know if they want people to actually use these things because people will catch on. Tons of people have already caught on. This is why they're buying Bitcoin. When people realize that they have negative interest rates, they won't understand what that means until they start checking their bank balances and they go, what's that extra charge? Why am I losing this every single month? That's a lot of money. I have a minus 1% negative interest rate. What does that even mean? Why is it? I managed to save 100K. Why is 1,000 leaving my account every single month? Oh yeah, that's part of the bank's policy. You're keeping the bank afloat. So not only are you paying the bank from the negative interest rate, you're also then incentivized in normal life to continue buying. Who do you think owns these other companies? Do you not understand that the bank also owns these companies who are also telling you? This is why the banks are so rich. This is why it's such a big thing that all the banks were like, yeah, we have to integrate Bitcoin because they know what's happening. They see what's happening, but normal people don't see what's happening. Normal people would have all the power if they started accumulating Bitcoin. Imagine poor nations, impoverished people around the world, if they had fragments of Bitcoin. Oh, it's a frustrating topic for me. Simply because we know that all the rich people are accumulating and so many other people aren't. So Central bank digital currencies are going to arrive. They are going to have a big red button when there's an economic mishap or when the banks or institutions get us into another stock market crash. And at some point, people are going to try and move their money around, and you're going to get a message on your phone in big red letters. Nope. The bank has frozen all the things because we're centralized. You can't use your money for the next 24 hours. We apologize. We apologize for the inconvenience. And people will go, it's the third time this has happened this year. Well, it's fine, whatever. I can go buy my TV to go make me happy tomorrow. And then they'll unlock your account because they figured out a way to move and shift money around so that the market stays afloat, and then you continue spending. And then a year and a half later it happens again. And you go, I'm so tired of this. Why can't I use my money? And people just simply don't start. It's just the cycle. So anyway, at some point, these people will pay attention. And I'm telling you, you are going to have a day where you have a friend who is going to brag to you that they managed to accumulate 34,000 Satoshis. Bitcoin's going to be sky high in price, and they're going to push the last of their fiat currencies into Bitcoin, and they're going to go, I can't believe I managed to get 34,000 Satoshis. And you're going to look at them and go, you're going to see your 5 million Satoshis, and you're going to go, yeah, oh, that's great. I'm so happy for you. I wish that I also had that much. If you're here, you're very lucky. You're paying attention, and you hopefully understand at least the surface area of economics and everything that's been taking place. So anyway, that's the European Central Bank digital currency news. These things are coming. They're having these discussions because they're trying to figure out the best way to create them, to get you to use them, and to protect themselves from basically when people stop using them. And without further ado, let's move on. Tying loosely, tightly into this, India's finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, has answered some questions regarding cryptocurrency in Rajya Sabha, the upper house of India's parliament. The questions include measures the government plans to impose on the crypto industry. The Indian finance minister answered 4 questions Tuesday regarding the trading of cryptocurrencies, including measures outlined in the crypto bill. For those of you who did miss it last week, there are rumors circulating quite rapidly that India is planning on banning cryptocurrencies. And I'm pretty sure I went over this like last Tuesday. They've been discussing that since 2017. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a very tight, controlled kind of thing where if you join a cryptocurrency exchange, we need your name, blood type, shoe size. Like, and I mean, like they want to know everything about you. Same exact thing if you cash out. It might also only be over-the-counter things where people can't actually trade the cryptocurrencies themselves. The minister asked the Minister of Finance whether a ban was imposed on Bitcoin trading in 2018, which was later lifted by the Supreme Court, whether other cryptocurrencies are still banned, and whether, despite the ban, illegal trading of cryptocurrency is still being done on a large scale. To answer these questions, Finance Minister replied, in view of the risks associated with the virtual currencies, including Bitcoin, Reserve Bank of India VIDE circular dated on the 6th of April 2018 had advised all the entities regulated by it not to deal in venture capitalists or provide services for facilitating any person or entity in dealing with or settling VCs. Sure. However, the Honorable Supreme Court VIDE judgment dated March 4th, 2020 had set aside the above circular dated the 6th of, so I guess it's happening on the 4th of March. Here's the actual text and stuff right here. I don't know if I said it in the other video, but nobody cares. No one actually cares. I know governments do things like this because they assume that they have the power and therefore they can move the markets at will. And if I say I'm going to ban you, then therefore the market has to tumble, or therefore the Bitcoin did not fall because India said that it's going to ban cryptocurrencies. The waters there have been so muddied with no one is certain if anything is legal there, and no one has been certain for the last 4 or 5 years. So I promise you, like, no one, there haven't been 900 million people in India who were in Bitcoin who were going to leave the market because they were never really into it in the first place. Any ban that does end up happening will simply cause people once again to leave the country and find somewhere else. Hey, I created this. I can do that. I can do so and so. So we would love to hire you. Please come to our country and let us give you money to make our country even richer. So no one knows what's going to happen. It's really all up in the air at this point. If there's a ban, sure, why not? We just will never hear about India in the cryptocurrency news again until 5 years later when they're forced to adopt Bitcoin as a reserve currency because their currency is garbage. Or they're going to allow cryptocurrencies, but they're going to have such stringent rules because they know that people will eventually just exclusively move to Bitcoin because their currency is garbage. There's no actual way around any of this. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it or say, well, maybe no. These are the only two options. They're either going to accept that it's there, try to put controls on it, which people still won't pay attention to because it's a decentralized cryptocurrency that you can use for everyone on the planet, or it's going to be banned. People are still going to be using it behind the scenes, and then eventually they're going to be like, okay, fine. We have to accept it. There are no other options at this point. So anyway, that's the India news. Sure, why not? No one really cares. What was the other country who was just like, yeah, we're banning it? And everyone was like, is it lunch? Is anybody else hungry? Because nobody cares. You can't have a garbage fiat currency or any fiat currency and say that you're going to ban Bitcoin when we know that Bitcoin is better. People in that country are going to be furious when Bitcoin hits $600,000 and they have none because their government told them, hey, use this garbage. See this piece of poop? This is your currency. Use that instead. If we get news that there's going to be a ban on private cryptocurrencies, that coins that people can use at free will, I give it a week after they're going to announce that they're going to have their own central bank digital currency. Promise you. Anyway, good luck, and let's move on. Next up, also in kind of popular news, residents of the United Kingdom will be the first people outside of the US who are able to use PayPal for buying and selling cryptocurrencies. According to the journalist Carl Quintanilla, the payment platform is planning to expand its crypto offerings to the United Kingdom in the coming months. PayPal also plans to make crypto available for Venmo wallet holders before the end of, so basically by summer. Other non-crypto services include expanding Venmo internationally before 2026 and a broader rollout of the app's credit cards. And that's the weirdest text I've ever seen in my entire life. Why is the text so big, and why was he talking in caps? PayPal CEO Dan Schulman mentioned that the company would add crypto buying, selling, and custody features to Venmo and select international markets this year during last week's Q4 earnings call. However, it was unclear which market would be first for the rollout. Schulman said the firm was significantly investing in its crypto, blockchain, and digital currencies arm after the launch of crypto services exceeded expectations. Cool. Popular news. That was popular news. It's all over the place, and it's popular news. We all knew that PayPal was going to be expanding. I guess the UK is getting it first, and then I assume it's going to be like France and Germany, and then they're going to be like, we're also adding Spain and Italy and Greece, and then eventually it'll be like 2 years, and then they're adding it to this country, and so and so and so. It's going to be everywhere at some point. And thank goodness that we don't have to rely on PayPal to get Bitcoin, because I assume that rollout's going to be a little bit slow. So yeah, thank goodness, especially if you're in the UK, there are tons of places to already buy Bitcoin. So yeah. Anyway, that's the PayPal news. Moving on. And to finish things off, the first publicly traded Bitcoin exchange traded fund in North America has been given the go-ahead by Canada's financial regulator. According to a decision document on Thursday, the receipt of approval from the Ontario Securities Commission was filed under a multilateral instrument passport system. Why does everything have to be so difficult? Why does everything have to be difficult? Under a multilateral instrument passport system in multiple Canadian jurisdictions. And it says all the places. I'm not reading out anything past Saskatchewan. I'm just not. The long story short is, and here's Hester Pierce talking as well. Remember, we were discussing last week that Hester Pierce was like, yeah, sure. Where's the Bitcoin ETF? Just let it go through. Every single other country who has wanted to create a Bitcoin ETP, ETN, or ETF, they have them. The only country that's still being left behind is the United States because for some reason the SEC won't approve one. Once again, also, no one cares. We had news last year, I think the year before, no, it was definitely the year before, that the only way that Bitcoin was going to go up, the only way, was when we had an ETF. Still no ETF, and Bitcoin keeps skyrocketing. So we're at the point where the crypto market does not care whether or not we get a Bitcoin ETF. Why? Because every other country already has their own ETF or exchange traded product. Bitcoin is not just limited to the United States, and they really have to get it together. The best momentum that we've seen in the US so far has been Hester Pierce being like, please just give them an ETF. The mayor of Miami saying that he's going to add Bitcoin to their sheets, to their what was it, portfolio sheets. What's this guy's name? There's some guy who wanted to run for mayor of New York. He's also talking about adding Bitcoin to the budget. And like the 5 or 6 other states who were like, hey, we're going to tax crypto lower and make sure that businesses can come here because we're going to be crypto friendly. What's taking so long? No one cares anymore. I don't know if I think my next goal in life is to become a regulator just so that I can try to understand their mindset a little bit more and really, like, I want to understand what it means to be like, we have the power. We're going to take forever to do something. 192 other countries doing what one country is not. I understand that the US ETF will have a very strong effect on the market. I get that. But we're going up regardless. The accumulation isn't stopping from these companies and countries who we know are accumulating Bitcoin simply because the US does not have an ETF. No, we're going to wait. We're not going to buy any more Bitcoin until the US has an ETF. Yeah, solidarity. No, that's not what's happening. Other countries are just getting richer. The news that we had before about all the crypto companies moving to I think was it Cyprus, Switzerland. I think there was some in Jersey as well, not New Jersey, but like Jersey, like UK Jersey, Gibraltar, many other places. Why? Because that's where the money is going to go, and that's where it's going to continue to go. Anyway, so the news being is that North America now has a crypto Bitcoin ETF. At some point, the US will get it as well. Sure, why not? What are you waiting for? What's the name of that movie? I Know What You Did Last Summer, where she's like spinning around in the street. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? It's pointless. Why wait so long? What are they doing? Does it make them feel more powerful because they're holding these things back? That I think that's actually, I think just hit the nail on the head. Because things move slow because they want things to move slow because they think that everything has to move slow. Can you imagine what a shake and a rattle it is? What it has to be for central banks that countries are massively adopting Bitcoin, that all these huge companies are adopting. Remember the other week when Tesla announced their Bitcoin purchase, all the economists who were on TV basically like crying, like they couldn't understand why it was happening. Why are they buying up Bitcoin? Oh, I've exhausted myself. That's the Hester Pierce sitting in a chair news, and moving on. As always, a gigantic thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbite University. Jojo Shaw Show. Is that a thing? What is that? Jojo Shaw Show. It sounds like Jojo Shaw has a show. Okay. VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolet, Lauren De Silva, cool name. Quoted Biddy, Bare Bones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Crypto Stahl, George Montoya, Wiselink, not TMI, Conan Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banan, Auspicious Snacky Chan, His name is Snacky Chan. Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hishtest Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Arfmedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Machonisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you very much to all the new Patreon members, all the new Patreon supporters. I do thank thee. I tip my digital hat in your direction. I should have tipped it over here as this is towards the camera and not towards the wall. Tipping again to you. Thank you to everyone who left a like. Thank you to everyone who left a comment. Thank you to everyone who left 2 comments. I see a lot of those all the time. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the support. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I think I finally hit 180,000. I feel like I'm jinxing it. I'm going to look at it. It's going to be like 155 and I'm going to be like, no. Thank you to everyone. Like really, really thank you for all your support through all of this. It's an exciting, fatiguing time because we're all just waiting for the events to happen and they're happening, but you know what I mean. Bitcoin is currently at 47,581 US dollars. It is down by 3%. Here's the dip right here. No real indication as to why. Nothing was really in the news. It was just more so that Bitcoin dipped and the Bitcoin has already been going back up. I assume this is going to be quite a, dare I say, a tumultuous week for the cryptocurrency market. It is going to be people who are continuously buying into the market, and is going to be a large amount of people who are trying to keep the market down so that they can accumulate more. These companies are not going to stop buying Bitcoin, and they are trying to do whatever they can to buy it at a lower price. But eventually, supply meets demand. They knock each other in the face, and the Bitcoin's price rises rapidly. Ethereum still at 1766. Like, it hasn't dropped by a lot. I think it was at 1900 or whatever, something 1900, not doing too bad. Cardano still at 81 cents. XRP's at 55 cents. Polkadot's at $25. Lumens like shot up over the weekend, and I'm not really sure why. It was up by like 17%, and now it's down by 11. Dogecoin fell up. I assume that's going to be green very, very soon. Anything else? EOS is down by 13%. Tezos is down by roughly 12. Tron is down by 11. You see the movements. It's because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin makes the market go round, and that's just how things work. Nothing too crazy. Dash is up by 7% because, you know, sure, why not? It's 2021. And Kusama's up by 11 as well. Wonderful. I do hope you all enjoyed. My throat still hurts. I need to go have some honey or something like that because it's minus 11. How is that even a number? I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be on this crazy planet. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to all of you soon. Talking to you all soon. I keep saying that weird and differently. It doesn't matter. You understand. Like, you understand English. Like, you get what I'm saying. Talking to you all soon. See you.